Using equity for buy-to-let, do I need a mortgage? Hi, it's Kevin Wright here, back with another property finance video, and I'm going to be dealing with this subject about using the equity in properties you own. Sound interesting? Hey, keep watching. So here's a question I had recently from someone that had a mortgage of $189,000 and had just finished building an extension and increased the value up to $685,000. Now they wanted to pull out another $150,000 to put into a buy-to-let property, but they'd gone to their mortgage broker and their mortgage broker says that that wasn't possible, and that left them a bit confused. Now let me drill down into why that mortgage broker could have been right and what they can do about it. The issue is not how much you've added value by the work you've been doing, it's about how much you earn and how you spend it. Assuming a broker is decent and competent, he would have done a fact find on you, looked at your income, looked at your commitments in terms of credit cards or loans, looked at your lifestyle expenditure in terms of who you have to support. Is it just you, or are there children or other people that you support? Then gone to different lenders, applied their differing income multiples, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever, and come out with a maximum figure. So for this person that wasn't able to borrow the 150 extra they wanted on top of their 189, it's fair to assume that income, less commitments, less lifestyle expenditure, applying a multiple, it didn't stack up to wanting to do that. And hey, that's a pretty common situation for a lot of people. However they've done it, they've got equity in their home, but they can't get at it through a main residence mortgage. So what's the workarounds? Selling the property could be one, but maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe, you've got children are settled in school, maybe you actually really like that house and the lifestyle you get from it, and you don't want to sell that property. So what's the other option? Getting a better paid job? That would help, wouldn't it? Maybe not so easy to do, but finding a way to get more income would allow you to release more money out. Maybe getting a second stream income, maybe taking a second job. Might not be practical, but that would be another way to get income. Look at your commitments. You can't really change your lifestyle expenditures too much, but you could possibly look at your commitments. Have you got one loan too many? Have you got a credit card too many? Loans are the thing to focus on. If you get rid of loans, you increase your borrowing potential. So maybe the focus for a few months would be to pay down that loan, whether it's a car loan or something else. Pay down that loan, get rid of that and free up. Overpay that loan or build up a balance in a savings account until you've got enough to clear that loan off. Could be another way to do it. Hey, do you know I run in-person, one-day events called Buy, Refurb, Refinance Summits. 2 great speakers, plus me, for a full day in a city near you. Look at the link below to see when the next one is for you. Now, the person that asked me this question also talked about a personal mortgage and converting it to a business mortgage. That really wasn't accurate terminology. There's not really such a thing as a business mortgage. We've got commercial mortgages, but they're for commercial properties or for residential properties rented out on a commercial basis. And you're certainly not going to be able to take out a commercial mortgage on your main residence. So what can you do? Maybe you can move into a house that was the size of the one that you have currently before you did the extension. Move back to a smaller property. You possibly do what they call a let-to-buy mortgage. So it's like a buy-to-let in terms of you're not buying the property to let it out. You're letting out the one you used to live in so you can buy a new main residence. That would free up some capital. But that still may not get that extra 150 out because the rental income on the property may not be enough to pull out the extra money. So even a let-to-buy option might not work, or might not work to the extent that you want it to. So if you didn't want to move because you really liked where you were, you looked at the downsizing and let-to-buy option, that didn't really release enough equity. Is there any other option? Actually there is, there's one, and it's called cross-collateral bridging. Now you've seen me talk about this in other videos. So with cross-collateral bridging, bridgers are not interested in how much you earn. Actually not interested in what your credit history is like either. But you can take money out on a short-term basis, put that into another property project, but listen, it's got to be one that you could add exponential value to. You can't use it as just a deposit for a ready-to-rent property. So it's got to be a doer-upper, or fixer-upper as people like to call them, but you can use this latent equity in a main residence as a springboard to get you into buying buy-to-let properties that you can then do up, refinance at a higher value and clear down the loan and then pay back the cross-collateral bridge that you borrowed. Now let's put some figures on the guy with his 685,000 newly valued property. So how would cross-collateral bridging work for him? Well, we take the 685,000 value, we times it by 65%. Now that comes to a little bit above 445,000. Check it out on your calculator if you want to. So bridgers will allow, on a second charge basis, they will go up to 445,000. Now the first mortgage is 189 if you remember. So 189 taken off of the 445 is the usable equity that's sitting in that property. So this chap has got £256,000 of usable equity in his property that he can put to his next buy-to-let purchase. Now, depending on where he wants to buy property, that could be a whole cash purchase plus the refurb, refinance it onto a buy-to-let mortgage. You added enough exponential value, you can pay back the 256 plus any interest costs and setup fees. Now you've got a buy-to-let property that can be rented out, and his 685,000 property is now back to its 189 mortgage. And the next time he wants to do it, he can repeat the process again and again and again. So you can see that latent unused equity that you can't pull out on a mortgage in a house you don't want to move away from, you can still do an awful lot of damage with £250,000 worth of usable equity in a property. Now, if he wants to play bigger than that, and let's say his new buy-to-let property is going to be a £400,000 or £500,000 property, then he can use that 256,000 as a 25% deposit, possibly also cover the refurb costs, and then borrow, let's say, up to 75% of that £400,000 to £500,000 property. So there'd be still one bridging loan, but it's across two properties: his 685 main residence and the new £400,000 to £500,000 buy-to-let property. Renovate that, boost up the value, get a buy-to-let mortgage, or of course you could sell it as well. You know, that maybe he wants to flip it, I don't know, that would work too. So there's quite a few different options, but if pulling money out of your main residence because you've got a big chunk of equity doesn't work, and you don't want to move because you love where you live, then cross-collateral bridging could be the answer. And it's been the answer for a significant number of our brokerage clients over the years, and we've arranged exactly these type of cross-collateral bridging loans to propel them forward in their property career. So there we are. That's the video for this week. I'm going to be back next week with another property finance video. See you then.
If you enjoyed watching this video, did you know every Monday morning at 8:30 I do a live Facebook Q&A. So if you want to start the week with checking out some answers to your property finance questions, click the link here.